This is what appears to be a 1920s fireplace system. Time period doesn't really matter, but based on the construction, I really seriously doubt this is a 30s system. Maybe more like even closer to the early 20s, maybe even the late teens. But I think it's like a 24, maybe 25 house. Regardless, we have a flashing material that's kind of right up against the metal chimney, the single wall brick. We have visible damage to the structure right there. When we look at the top, we can see age, patchwork, the grayish material, shifting of the masonry here. When we look down, we can actually see visible damage as well, although I don't know if I'm going to be able to really show you. I mean, pardon my very poor cinematography, but we're not Steven Spielberg here. Okay, so we can see damage right here, damage even below the roof. So the damage we see above the roof is really just the top portion of damage. There's some more damage in other areas too. We can see a very clear missing of material right here, and even down below. I'm sure if we sent a video camera down this system or even up it, we're going to find more damage. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't really matter if there's more damage. The age of the structure, the damage that we see here, all of that really dictates a significant repair to the system. The inner walls of the system are just so worn out as far as the coating that I think it would be a little silly to do anything but a rebuild on this system. The city would at a minimum require removal to the roof line, and if you really look at all the calculations the city has to determine how much you can rebuild of a damaged structure, we're not meeting those calculations. So regardless, the requirement here is a reconstruction of the chimney system. Basically remove it down to the top of the fireplace. But if after one gets there the brick do not hold themselves together, then you keep going and remove the entire thing and then rebuild it. Basically a new fireplace. I can't predict which way that's going to go. I can guess that you're probably going to be fine on rebuilding it with a metal chimney, but notice I said the word guess, and I really mean that. That is a guess. I think you will, but be prepared for the requirement for a new fireplace. So the cost for repairs here is going to be anywhere between $10,000 and $14,000, maybe $13,000, depending on which route one has to go. Now, as we look at the outside of the system, we can see it's been painted. Now, I also believe that there's been a lot of patchwork to the grout between the brick in the past as well. I really believe there's been quite a bit of it. Can I tell you that's true? No, not without really seeing it, but looking here, that does not look like original mortar from the 20s. That looks like newer. So there's been some significant or tuck pointing on the exterior that really prevents me from truly seeing the condition of the system. We were to go into here, actually, well, let's do it. We'll go into here and we take a look inside the crawl space. Look at the sidewall here. I mean, the grout is just basically missing and powder. My light's probably a bit too bright. So, I mean, there's definitely significant wear and age to the system, and why not? I mean, gosh, 80, 90 years of life? Yes, of course there's going to be wear. So, there's also wood underneath the hearth extension, which I would talk about removal of that if the fireplace is indeed salvageable. So, the paint and the tuck pointing that's been done certainly hides a bit of the condition of the system, but looking in the inside and also the damage is pretty conclusive on this particular case. So this is our firebox perspective. When we look at the firebox, we can see that we have a newer hearth extension finish, newer finish around it, so that certainly covers some of the condition that, or at least prevents us from truly seeing the condition of it, whether it's good or bad. Then we look at the firebox itself. We got a painted sidewall there. And then when we start looking at the back wall, then we can really see the condition of the firebox. I mean, there's shifting, movement, displacement. And then we start looking in here, we can see that the grout is actually powder in areas. So in addition to removal and replacement of the chimney, I would talk about removal and replacement of the firebox. But again, obviously, before one were to undergo this repair, one would remove the chimney first. And again, if the brick do not hold themselves together, which is very possible, then one would remove it to the ground and then reconstruct with an approved fireplace system. Do not use this fireplace. It is single wall construction. The heat barrier is basically gone. We have several points of damage, so it's a no-brainer for me to be a little heavier or heavy-handed in that regard. Ensure you review my written report for my findings and recommendations.